Hi everyone, this is Dr. Mike, host of the free iTunes podcast, Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike, but that's not why I'm here today. This is another Saving Savvy episode, and this time I'm going to talk about why I'm feeling sad that Adobe is going towards a subscription cloud-based service for many of its programs. Now, I'm an amateur photographer and I love taking pictures, and I'll tell you that I probably do edit about 95 to 99% of all photos that I take. But I do that, it's usually pretty simple edits, and I do most of those in Aperture. On occasion, maybe a few photos a month, if that, I need to take a program or a photo out of Aperture and use a program like Photoshop to do a little fine-tuning, adjustment, things that you just can't do in Aperture. So I definitely use the program, but I don't use it very often. And I certainly don't use it enough to justify a $20 a month fee. Now, I know what you're probably saying. You're probably saying, well, wait a second, Photoshop itself costs quite a bit. But I tend to use my Photoshop programs for a very, very long time and really only upgrade them when I feel that there's something very compelling as far as new features. And so right now I actually do have CS6, but I'm worried that when they eventually stop selling that program, they're not going to update the raw files, and so any new camera that I have won't work properly with my Adobe CS6. And it just seems kind of not very economical for me to spend $20 a month when maybe I'm kind of editing 2 photographs that month in that program, like $10 each. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I know what you're saying. If you're a professional, you're saying, well, this is awesome because we can build this into our cost structure. We're always going to have the latest, greatest software. It's going to be, all the bugs will be out and the best features will be in. And for a professional, I think it probably does make some sense. And certainly I understand Adobe's desire to do this, not only to have a constant income stream, but also to prevent piracy. But I'm not pirating my program. I'm paying for it. I'm just using it a long time. What are my options? Well, probably using Photoshop Elements. There's not that many programs that are available for the Mac platform compared to the Windows platform. Photoshop Elements is a fine program. I've used it, but it's not as sophisticated and the controls are not as precise as those with regular Photoshop, even for an amateur like myself. So although I have that option, it's still not as good of an option as what I had before. And who knows, maybe in a couple of years, if this is successful, then Elements will be a subscription service too. So it saddens me to think that everything's turning into a subscription service. I think if you look at just one element of it, it's not a very big deal. But so let's say you're paying $20 a month for your Photoshop, or maybe you want the whole Creative Suite for $50 a month, but you're just an amateur, and then you're paying for Word or for Office. You have to pay for that. They want to turn that into a subscription service, and then maybe you have some other software that's a subscription service, and then perhaps on occasion you want to watch Netflix, but that's a subscription service now, or Hulu, and that's a subscription service. And unless you're really going to utilize these services, it pretty much adds up to a pretty substantial bill. So I'm sad that Adobe's going to this subscription-based only service, and I think they'll certainly lose customers like me, but of course I think they'll continue on with their professional customers who need that level of software, and really the costs are incidental for them. So sorry, you amateurs out there, you'll just have to find something else. Take care. If you get some time, please give my podcast a listen. You can subscribe to it, but it's totally free. It's called Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike. It's an audio podcast. You can find it on iTunes and other places, and I think it's pretty interesting. In fact, this last one that came out was on the heroin epidemic in the suburbs. So if you have an interest in that, give that a listen. Take care. Bye-bye.